start. We can start by a prayer. Pastor Kotora, if you could pray for us.
Let's pray.
Councillor Pastor, yes.
Tunakutenda mwari wa masimba wasimangwanani ano. Tunotenda nekuda kwemeeting ino. Uine budget presentation yakuda kutoka pakati pedu. Tunosima basa rose nezvose zvichaitwa pakati pedu mumakwenyu. Tuchengetera kutungamirira kwenyu mazvita muzita raJesu. Amen.
No other measure other than those specified in the notice shall be passed with a special council.
Do you have any leave of absence? Yes. Councillor Scott, okay. Councillor Lamnescoba. Councillor Charubira. Councillor who? Councillor Kasose. Those are the ones. Thank you. Okay, fine.
Item 5 is the approval of the council budget, the financial year ending 31st December 2024.
We'll invite the chair of finance to come forward and unveil or read the council budget. Councillor Costa Mande with his briefcase. The man is mad.
Yes. Thank you, Worship. Thank you, Worship. Your Worship, I move that leave be granted to present a statement of the estimated revenues and expenditures of the city of Harare for the 2023 financial year. This is in compliance with the Constitution of Zimbabwe, Amendment number 20, Act 20 of 2013, Section 276. Public Finance Management Act, Chapter 22.19 is amended on Section 47. And Urban Councils Act, Chapter 29.15 on Section 288. His Worship, the Mayor of the City of Harare, Councillor Jacob Mafume, Honorable Councillors here present, the Acting Town Clerk Engineer Mabena Moyo, Heads of Departments, esteemed stakeholders and residents who are watching this budget presentation live on ZTN and on our social media platforms. Invited guests, members of the media fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. Your Worship, allow me to extend my gratitude to all stakeholders whose input helped in shaping this budget through the budget consultation process we undertook as a city. Let me start by appreciating the residents of Harare for exhibiting high levels of resilience during the 2022 financial year. The year was characterized by serious micro and macroeconomic challenges due to rising inflation and erosion of income. We managed to stay afloat because some of the ratepayers were honoring their obligations. Commendations also go to our development partners, particularly those who invested in the water, sanitation, hygiene, and health sectors. These partners contributed towards the achievement of our key outcomes, as will be highlighted later in the budget speech. Your Worship, we have very little space to decouple Harare from both country and the government. We don't have enough space to run council on our own mandate. Center local remains one entity with the center more in charge. In a normal setup, the ministry would be an enabler, a facilitator, and a catalyst for the good things a council seeks to do. This has not been the case, as council has been operating with many directives which are not doing the city any good. The disbursement of devolution funds and the ZINARA grant have not been to our expectations. Your Worship, devolution was born out of Zimbabwe's 2013 Constitution, Section 301, subsection 3. This section clearly states that not less than 5% of the national revenue raised in any financial year must be allocated to the provinces and local authorities as their share in that year. The government must respect the supreme law of the land and act according to the dictates of the same. Your Worship, as we prepared the 2023 budget, we were alive to the key role that the city plays towards the contribution to the national gross domestic product in the following key economic targets. 1, growing the economy at an average of 5% for 2023. Maintain fiscal deficit averaging not more than 3% of the gross domestic product. Lower inflation within SADC target range of 3 to 7% by 2025. Improve infrastructure development in the energy, water, and sanitation sectors. Your Worship, the budget before you is a responsive budget that has taken into consideration issues raised by stakeholders through consultative process. Key among the issues raised were the provision of water and sanitation, infrastructure development, social services delivery, public safety and security, protection of the environment, and fairness in tariffs charged by the City of Harare. The 2023 budget, whilst it takes cognizance of issues raised by stakeholders, it is also an outward-looking financial plan. The budget seeks to facilitate economic growth and development, which will act as a catalyst to national economic transformation. The budget theme is back to basics towards sustainable service delivery. Back to basics towards sustainable service delivery, anchored on enhancing good governance and infrastructure development. This seeks to inspire confidence in our residents and promote both local and foreign investment. These are positive, deliberate measures being undertaken by Council to contribute to the attainment of the national vision at a local level. Your Worship, concerted effort is being made by the city to ensure basic provision of water, sanitation, rehabilitation of roads, access to affordable health services, equitable distribution of educational and social amenities, and ensure environmental protection. Allow me to give an overview of the national economic outlook to assist in contextualizing the 2023 City of Harare budget. National economic outlook. Your Worship, the Zimbabwean economy experienced some turbulence during the year. The annual inflation rate was 60.6% in January 2022, reaching 285% in August 2022. This has been largely due to the depreciation of the local currency. The exchange rate between the local currency, Zimbabwean dollar, and the United States dollar started the year at 1:110 to a high of 1:621 interbank rate. As at 30 September 2022, interventions by fiscal authorities resulted in narrowing of the gap between the interbank rate and parallel market rate. This has reduced the level of arbitrage in the pricing of goods and services and improvement in access to foreign currency. Your Worship, the national economy was projected to grow by 5.5% in 2022, revised downwards to end of the year at 4.6%. This is in recognition of the adverse movements in key indicators as mentioned earlier. For 2023, the projected growth is 5%, as the national focus is on the continued growth strategies and anticipated favorable rain season. The projected growth of the economy and achievements of 2023 targets of the proposed budget are threatened by the possible inflationary pressures affecting key commodity prices like fuel and energy. Local government sector issues. Your Worship, the following key local government sector issues need to be urgently addressed. 1. Dilapidated infrastructure. Aged infrastructure coupled with increasing population makes it imperative that we invest in water, wastewater, and road infrastructure for our city. 2. Enterprise resource planning system. The delays in resolving ERP issues has led to the continued failure of the city to have timeous audited financial statements, effective revenue collection, and plugging of revenue leakages. This is destroying residents' confidence in the city and calls for expeditious procurement and operationalization of an efficient ERP system. We have resolved to have a bridging ERP within the next 14 days, Your Worship. Number 3, low revenue collection efficiency. The city has attained a record low revenue collection efficiency of 45%. Comprehensive strategies, which are all-encompassing, must be put in place, underpinned by tight cost-cutting measures to address the cash flow challenges being experienced. Number 4, Auditor General remarks. Efforts to remedy outstanding governance and service delivery issues raised by the Auditor General for the past audits is necessary to move away from disclaimer audit opinion which the city has been attracting over the years. Number 5, underexploited revenue base. There is need to expedite crafting of bylaws in potential revenue generating areas. Furthermore, the review of outdated bylaws is very urgent, Your Worship. Number 6, lack of enforcement. There is lethargy in enforcement of laws governing operations of the city, and this indiscipline has resulted in illegal settlements, buildings, and increased leakages. Efforts must be made to restore order through rigorous enforcement. Local, economic, and operational environment. Your Worship, the general informalization of the country has resulted in a growing underground economy. Informality has a huge bearing on the operations of the city. Council, with the aid of development partners, is making efforts to register these economic activities so that they contribute to the fiscus. Your Worship, this sector has over years been characterized by political groupings battling for illegal control and dominance over space and infrastructure. The city has witnessed violent incidents in Mbare. There is need for political will across the divide for coordinated regulation and enforcement of the informal sector. This is critical as the nation prepares for the 2023 harmonized elections. Your Worship, the city of Harare needs to review and update bylaws and enforce to regulate activities and get legal basis to collect revenue and fund service delivery. To this end, departments are currently reviewing their mandates to identify bylaws for reviewing and crafting new ones. This, Your Worship, will ease the pressure on our mainstream tariff that may burden our ratepayers. Your Worship, your council is part of the Harare Metropolitan Province, where sister authorities in the province depend on Harare for essential services. There is need for continued engagements to ensure coordinated development across the province in view of Harare Combination Master Plan. On investment opportunities, Your Worship, as a broad measure which seeks to unlock value, the city needs to conclude the Harare Combination Master Plan in 2023. This will give a conceptual layout of future growth and development of the cities as council envisages to make a significant contribution to the national fiscus through growth in local gross domestic product. It is important that this project be given priority implementation in the year 2023, as it will set the tone for development in the city. It will speak to potential investment areas, which will promote domestic and foreign investment. Furthermore, Your Worship, the city is a fertile ground for public-private partnerships in infrastructure development, since the city has no capacity to do it alone, given huge capital outlays required for this. The city has an active business development unit whose task is to market available opportunities and receive proposals from private investors for mutual benefit to both players. A review of the 2022 budget. Your Worship, the 2022 budget that is still under implementation has faced several factors, positive and negative, resulting in collection efficiency of 45% as of 30 September 2022. The 2022 tariff are indexed to the US dollar and hence provided the council room to preserve value at the billing point, but collections have not been commensurate to the billings. Your Worship, the obtaining state of our finances is undesirable, having failed to collect more than 50% of potential revenue. The failure to collect is linked to non-availability of a fully functional integrated enterprise resource platform, inadequate service delivery, and low customer satisfaction index of 32%, according to a survey conducted in 2021. Revenue. Your Worship, revenue inflows during the first 9 months of September 2022 amounted to 31.89 billion Zimbabwean dollars against a potential of 70.216 billion Zimbabwean dollars, resulting in a negative variance of 38.33 billion Zimbabwean dollars. Included in this amount are inflows from ZINARA, 392.46 million Zimbabwe dollars, and devolution funds amounting to 165.05 million Zimbabwean dollars. Revenue inflows are projected to reach 55.01 billion Zimbabwean dollars by year end. The revenue inflows were predominantly from property tax, which contributed 36.5% to the total inflows. Another significant revenue line was user charges, contributing 24.8%. Overall, the city did not fully exploit potential revenue streams due to non-implementation of bylaws which await approval and weak enforcement existing bylaws. The city failed to raise interest charges on outstanding debtors. Furthermore, the city failed to collect revenues in potential areas which bylaws are yet to be crafted. Expenditure. Your Worship, the rising inflation and deteriorating exchange movements have had a multiplied impact on the cost of delivering services to the city. The existence of a parallel exchange market cannot be ignored, as the market for daily provisions show evidence of market players indexing their prices to the parallel market and forward pricing in local currency. As the key economic indicators of inflation and exchange rate worsened around mid-year, the level of arbitrage by service providers resulted in the city requiring suppliers to quote in USD and get payments in Zimbabwean dollars, converted at the ruling official exchange rate. This minimized the level of price variations from suppliers, but the existence of the parallel market still led to the suppliers overstating the US dollar quotations. Your Worship, your council is working to manage these supplier relations and curtail expenditure so as not to overstretch creditor days. Your Worship, total expenditures for the same period amounted to 33.524 billion Zimbabwean dollars against a proportionate budget of 31.404 billion Zimbabwean dollars, resulting in an expenditure overrun of 2.119 billion Zimbabwean dollars. Expenditure to year end is projected to reach 55.821 billion, attributed to major cost drivers, namely salaries, electricity, fuel, and water chemicals. Your Worship, our debtors continue to grow monthly. Debtors rose to 56.691 billion as at 30 September 2022 from the 1st January position of 16.8 billion Zimbabwean dollars. Debtors disaggregation is as follows: commerce and industry, 43.64%, domestic, 35.56%, government in general, 5.07%, sundry debtors, 12.68%, and dormitory towns, 3.05%. Council continues to be saddled with the effects of a huge debtors book. Non-payment of rates negatively impacts on service delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, living in the city have costs that are attached to it, and every effort should be made to pay. For the city to be able to provide sustainable services, ratepayers should be prepared to honor their obligations. Your Worship, creditors rose to 8.6 billion Zimbabwean dollars as at 30 September 2022 from the January opening balance of 3.37 billion Zimbabwean dollars against the backdrop of constrained revenue inflows. The major drivers to the creditors' position are as follows: electricity charges, 32.52%, statutory obligations, 29.49%, trade creditors, 19.22%. Electricity charges have long been high and there's need for sustainable measures to be put in place. Alternative sources of energy should be pursued. Furthermore, Council has an outstanding obligation to service China Exim loan for Morton Jeffrey Waterworks refurbishment amounting to $77.05 million US. Notwithstanding the financial position of the city as highlighted above, and with all the challenges related to the inadequate disbursements of the grants we expected from the National Treasury, we managed to fund some of the capital acquisitions using our own resources. Recapitalization of service delivery assets is important in order to build and sustain service delivery. As at 30 September 2022, the city had utilized 1.824 billion out of its revenue, out of its budgetary allocation of 10.236 billion. Operational assets, namely 30 service vehicles, 6 refuse compactors, 8 tipper trucks, 1 excavator, 50 desktop computers, 4 tractors, 20 motorbikes, 1 compressor, and 26 receipting printers were procured. The city also expensed in the rehabilitation of Morton Jeffrey Laboratory, construction of Mavuku Polyclinic, Administration Block Foundation, and the completion of Chitubu Polyclinic. Your Worship, devolution funds amounting to 165 million Zimbabwean dollars out of the budgetary allocation of 2.33 billion Zimbabwean dollars were received and utilized to partly construct Cobra storage ponds, aerated lagoon, and Kwadzana sewer line replacement. Both these projects are incomplete and are awaiting further disbursements. We hope through engagement that government will release the outstanding funds to enable completion of these projects by year end. Billing. Your Worship, allow me to highlight key issues on billing. We are indexing tariffs for our services in the US dollar to maintain value given the exchange rate volatility. Ratepayers are free to pay in foreign currency or local currency at the prevailing official rate in compliance with the Operative Statutory Instrument 185 of 2020. We, however, encourage all clients who trade in foreign currency and collect revenue in the same to consider paying in foreign currency to enable the city to sustain service delivery. Some services require payment in foreign currency only. On audits, Your Worship, we were last audited for the 2019 financial year, and 2020 financial year is ready, awaiting audit and pending finalization of issues in 2019 raised by Auditor General and signing off. The last audit of 2019 was qualified because of the absence of a fully integrated enterprise resource planning system. Absence of full integration has resulted in delays in production of monthly management reports as manual computations are employed. We are, however, working to restore financial confidence by having an operational ERP system in the shortest period and to ensure that we are up to date in terms of financial reporting and audited accounts. Your Worship, fellow councillors, it is my honor to present for your approval the 2023 revenue and capital estimates. Budget framework. Your Worship, the budget before you is a plan whose main thrust should be to spare sustainable service delivery and improve the well-being of the residents of Harare. The 2023 estimates are advised by outcomes and outputs in the 6 program areas. Your Worship, the City of Harare endeavors to contribute to the national growth targets and bring about sustainability in service delivery. To align and support national development, provincial plans, and local plans visions, the city's 2023 budget will embark on an array of infrastructural projects in the following areas: water and sanitation, roads, public safety and security, health, education, and social amenities.
We apologize for that break in live streaming. We greatly apologize for that break in live streaming. We shall be bringing you the City of Harare 2023 budget presentation tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in to Zimbabwe Daily. It's bye-bye for now.